What's up, HeartCore out there? That's actually how we came up with the title for this podcast. I was all like, hardcore! And Miko was like, oh, hardcore. I love that. Miko? Oh, I'm
Actually,
Chell, by the way.
the way it actually happened was because you were telling me a hardcore story about your life.
Not wrong.
And then we figured, yeah, this would be a great title for our podcast, which is going to be all about hardcore human design. And why did we come up with this name?
Because we are both ego authorities. Bum bum bum. We'll explain more about what the hell that means in just a wee bit. But I think intros are probably in order, so I'm gonna pass the mic to you, girly. Who are you and what are you all about?
I am Miko. I am a self love coach, a yoga instructor, and I use human design to help people figure out who they really are and release their full potential by doing so. And for me, human design has really helped me in understanding myself better, but also understanding my clients in a much faster, more deeper way. And yeah, I just went into the rabbit hole and couldn't stop going and keep going. I mean, I feel like this is never going to end the learning journey. And that's how we're here today. And you, how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I was having a quarter life crisis, or I guess a late quarter life crisis in 2021, and I ended up joining a mastermind with like other female entrepreneurs. And one of the female entrepreneurs in that space happened to be a human design coach. And like prior to that, I had been like all about Enneagram and like Myers-Briggs and like trying to do all of the personality things to learn more about myself. And I just had this like I felt seen when I learned about my human design. I was like, wow, like I don't have to answer any questions. I don't have to like go through this like long thing of like deciding who I am, not who I want to be. And it just clicked. And that was in 2021. So it's been like 2.5 years. Oh my God, that's nuts. It's been like 2.5 years on this crazy human design journey. And similar to you, like understanding myself better, I think has been amazing, especially now that I'm in my like early 30s. I feel like that aha moment came at just the right time. So I also use human design in my life for myself and like to understand my family better, which has also been a game changer. We might have to talk about that at some point as well. But for my clients, I'm a registered dietitian and I work with other dietitians in like a roundtable setting because I don't love the word mastermind. And we just come together and really gain an understanding of ourselves. So it's mostly focused on self development and bringing people a little bit closer to the decision making that is most aligned for them so that they can make aligned decisions in their business as well. All the cool things. I'm so stoked that we're doing this, Miko.
So yeah, we met. I think you can tell the story better because I was wondering how we met or when we met exactly and how we connected. And yeah, you told me just before clicking the record button that you have more info on that.
I do. I went back into our Instagram DM history as where most, I guess, real good relationships start, right? So, all the way back to March 22nd, 2021. Dude, I'd love to see the transits on that day. If we could go back and like see that, that would be dope to see what the transits were that day. However, I messaged you in true manifester fashion. Oh my God, I don't even think we said our full designs, dude. I'm a 6-2 ego manifester.
That's also why we named the podcast HeartCore because I'm an ego projector 6-2 profile as well.
Boom. Oh, I got some statistics on that too, but I'm gonna go back to our story really quick. So I
Okay.
messaged you. I was like, hey, Miko, I'm in the podcast clubhouse room with you, digging your bio. If you're down, I'd love to collab here on Instagram. Perhaps we can go live and you can speak to creating habits. Would love your take. Smiley face emoji, Celestina. You responded with, hey, Celestina, flower emoji. Wonderful to meet you on here. That's a great idea, smiley face emoji. What do you do in your day to day, and what time zone do you live in? Lots of light and love. Sprinkly star emoji. It's such an us
Yeah, that sounds
conversation.
like me. I can't believe it. I've been on the on Clubhouse maybe 3 times in my life.
Okay, so then after that, I was like, okay, so statistically, what are the chances that you and I would have met, right? Statistically.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so projectors comprise like 17 to 20-ish% of the people in the world. Manifestors comprise like 9 to 11-ish% of the people in the world. Ego authorities are like 1% of the people in the world. So then I was like, huh, what are the odds of two random people in the world meeting? Apparently, there's about 80,000 people on average. Sorry, people meet about 80,000 people on average in their lifetime. So there's 8 billion people in the world. Then the odds of meeting people are literally 0.001% chance of meeting.
And then on top of that, meeting the same inner authority, which is very, very limited. I mean, under 1% or 1%, it's
And the same
very
profile?
little. And the same profile.
Dude!
Yeah, very cool. Oh my God, I love that you found that conversation again.
Okay, so that was my math lesson of the day. All you now, Miko.
That you made a statistic out of it, like an analysis.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's very quad left of you, even though you're not one.
I am not one, but I'm very much in my Saturn return as a 1-3. So,
Okay, yeah, we need to
gonna
dig
go a
deep
little
into
deep.
the things. Very good. So, yeah, the reason why we started this podcast is because we wanted to give everyone out there a chance to understand their personal human design a little better, understand the topics of human design in a very relatable way, but still going deep into the matter. So it's not going to be just about the surface level kind of conversations. And the way that we're going to be doing that is by looking at people's charts that everyone knows, by comparing them in their relationships, in their lives, in different kinds of aspects, so that you have people to relate to and understand, okay, this is a person that has a similar type, at least, or a similar profile. However, that being said, human design is so, so, so unique to you and just you. So even though you may have the same chart or a very similar chart, you're still going to be different because human design is about making the right choices. And for that, we use the inner authority.
Beautiful.
So you and I have a similar inner authority, or the same inner authority. So the ego authority or heart authority. How do you use that in your life?
Honestly, I don't think I was aware of it until you explained what it felt like for you.
Yeah, that
And
happens a lot.
yeah, and like, I think that was on our like 8-hour road trip through 3 countries the first time we met. That
Yes.
you explained what a hell yes feels like for an ego authority. And for, I think you mentioned it, like feels like a heart pull. And the way I like to describe it now is like the Care Bears from the 90s. Like when it was like a good decision from them, they're like, innate, and that's how it feels when I'm doing something that's aligned.
Too. And what we often struggle with is this being a little egoistic, but in a healthy way. So we're being conditioned as ego manifestors or ego projectors, which are the only two types, by the way, that can have the ego authority. So we are being conditioned to not be selfish, to be selfless. And while this topic is very heavy in this culture, it's looked upon in a very negative way a lot of times. Being egoistic in a healthy way is a good thing. What is your experience with that?
Oof, dude, that hits real hard. So I think my earliest memories of like the ego selfish word came up when I was probably like 3 or 4, just living my best life, being little manifester me. And I've like watched home videos recently and she was cray cray. But like, but like my
Well,
grandma
yeah,
would be like, oh,
manifestors are supposed to be doing
oh
their
yeah,
own thing and following their heart in your case. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. Little me was a baller, and like it's kind of cool watching those like old home videos of just like little you being little you without any inhibitions. But I vividly remember my grandmother, like on my mom's side, being like, Chelly, that's what she called me, don't be selfish, or like, yeah, it was just very interesting. And I don't recall being selfish. Like, I didn't have siblings, it was literally just me, or I don't have siblings, rather. But those words hit hard. And as an adult, I like legit had to go to therapy because of a decision, like a big decision in my life that I had to make because I thought I was being selfish, like
Mm.
making that decision. So, yeah, it's just really interesting how we are designed, beautifully designed to be ourselves, and how conditioning and external forces can impact us.
Yeah. Uh, it's this is what human design is about. It shows you who you are and who you're here to be and how you're here to make decisions. And in some instances, this can hit very hard. The more you've been conditioned in your life by someone or something, or like it can be in events in your life, it can be people in your life, it can be cultural, social, spiritual, emotional, physical. It can be on all different kinds of levels. And the more you've been conditioned, the harder it is for you to sometimes even accept your inner authority. And in Celestina's case, her heart, her ego authority is on top of that unconsciously defined. So
Girl.
she has the channel, she has a full channel, one channel,
Just one.
but it's split in half.
It's,
Half of it is conscious and half of it is unconscious.
yeah, okay, I got two things. I'm going to answer this question and then I'm going to throw this back at you. So, the way this presents itself for me, because I have the channel of like giving people the resources that they need, right? I find myself having this, like, feeling a major pull whenever I see like people who not necessarily are homeless, but like don't have a ton of stuff, right? Or are maybe disenfranchised, or like not disenfranchised, that's not the right word, but just they have some type of disadvantage, right? That's when I feel the biggest heart pull. And again, this is not to gloat, but like the times I've felt the biggest heart pull is I was like sitting in Starbucks, like, and these two dudes came in. They were like sitting there for a while, just like charging their phones, using the restrooms. And I saw them multiple times throughout that week because I just happened to be like getting a project done. And that was the nearest cafe near me. So not that I'm like sponsor a Starbucks, but like I'm just saying it was the nearest cafe near me. What I'm trying to say is I noticed that there was a pattern with these dudes. And I think the second time I saw them, I ended up having a gift card in my like wallet that I didn't need. And I was like, would this help you guys? And I think it was a pretty hefty gift card too. It's like 50 or $100, right? And that's not something that I would typically give lightly, but dude, I felt this immense heart pull knowing that I had the resources to be able to help them. And I think that was really cool. So I find that I have the biggest heart pulls when it's something that I like either physically have on me or something is close and I can help someone. Um, but yeah, I'm going to toss this
Mm.
back at you. When did you recognize your heart pulls? Because you had your human design journey way earlier than I did. Um, but yeah, I'd love to know like when did you start noticing heart pulls?
So I think I connected with my human design very quickly. So once I saw it and understood what that meant, and after finding, because it was really difficult finding information about the ego authority, I felt
Yeah.
like no one was really describing it properly or well. And I had to kind of figure it out myself as well. So I learned about it and I recognized it, and I kind of made up my own definition of it or how it felt. And that was by reflecting back on my past, all the decisions that
Mm,
I've made. And also, of course, observing myself in the present moment, or, yeah, now in the past, but moving forward
Yeah.
since I learned human design, I was just observing how I made decisions and what it felt like inside of me. And I felt like the best decisions I've made are not necessarily the ones that led to most of my happiness as well.
Hmm.
But it was definitely lessons that I had to learn. So human design is not going to save you from heartache. It's not going to save you from challenging situations, but it's going to reduce the struggle. So it's going to reduce the resistance, which is really interesting. So all the decisions I've made while I was doing them or making them, they didn't really make sense to me. But in hindsight, everything I did, every topic I chose, every person I chose to be with or have in my life, they all make sense in hindsight. So my
Hmm.
parents thankfully always gave me the freedom to decide whatever it is I wanted to do. They always told me, okay, follow your heart. In yeah, not so many words, but that was the sentiment that they gave me, because I was always allowed to do what I felt I wanted to do. So I studied psychology, photography, criminology, communications design, profiling. So I studied all of these things, and also the alternative doctor in Germany. So
All the
after
things.
going all over the place, now it all makes sense. And
Yeah.
the decisions were correct, in my opinion, because I'm using every single thing I've learned right now in my self employment in opportunity. And so for me now moving forward, I understand that the decisions I'm making, or for me the heart pull that I'm feeling, the channel that I have is 2551, and that is a lot about transformation, not only transforming other people, and but also transforming myself. And it happens through shock a lot of times. So I often shock people into transformation. I also shock myself into transformation. So this is kind of what happens. The decisions I make are shocking to the world around me a lot of times. They can be a shock to my own system, but they are, in the end, when I follow my heart, they are right for me.
I love that. Do you recall any times as a kid of being able to follow your heart? Because your parents like really encouraged you to do that, right?
Yeah. I feel like I was always most of I was always allowed to follow my heart, but often my mind, or sometimes my mind, came in and said, "Hey, maybe you should take that decision because it's just more logical. It makes more sense.
Mm.
It feels better for societal reasons or things
Ugh.
like that." And
Ugh.
that is a tough one. Yes, for every single authority out there, I feel like this is a really tough one to get over, and
Yeah.
to stand your ground, and to just follow what's inside of you instead of what has been imposed on you.
Ooh, dude, that is a topic for. We can go so deep into that, but that is a topic for another day. Because little manifestor me at 3 definitely turned into like an MG when I got into school. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be a
Well,
deeper dive on another day, but yeah.
definitely. So this is for everyone that doesn't know what that means. So
Oh,
MG
thanks.
means manifesting generator. Non-sacral beings. So those are reflectors, projectors, and manifestors. They do not have the sacral defined. And in that case, it doesn't mean that you don't have any energy, but it means that you don't have the sacral energy, which is the life force energy. And that is always there, always running, if you are doing what you're here to be doing. So if you're really following your passion, following your purpose. Because even though if you have the sacral defined, if you are a generator or a manifesting generator and you have it defined, and you can still lack energy if you're not following what you're here to be doing, if you're not doing what you're here to be doing. So when a non sacral being is becoming, in this case, Celestina is becoming a manifesting generator. What she means by that is that she's trying to have this unlimited amount of energy, and she's running herself dry by doing that. She's exhausting herself at some point. It may work at the beginning because she's picking up the energies from everyone around her and she's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. But at some point, it's going to exhaust her. So that's probably what happened to you when you started college.
Oh, this was like kindergarten, girl.
Oh, kindergarten. Okay. So even
Like
earlier.
my entire academic career, I was like
Oh my
hardcore
God.
MG.
Well, even after that, you told me that you really worked crazy hours, and this also kind of led to you pulling the brakes. And
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the reason I went so deep into like the self-development world in 2021 is because I like took a month off of my work, meaning like my job that my self-employment, that's the word that I'm looking for. And really needed to step back. Um, but yeah, that was like the first time I think in my adult life in 2021 that I like allowed myself to chill for the first time ever. And it's interesting because I don't think of myself as neurotic, but I feel like my parents' favorite line for me is chill chow, which is really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is
Yeah.
really interesting. Well, I've
Yeah.
just run a chart of someone who's probably raised in an all generator household. At least I know three designs of her family, and I know
Yeah.
that they're all sacral, and she
Ooh.
is apparently a reflector, but she
Oh
is
God.
running on high, high, high energy. Like, I feel like, I mean, I'm still surprised that she's a reflector and showing up as a reflector because, or like in the chart showing up as a reflector, because in life
Yeah.
she's behaving like a manifesting generator or a
Interesting.
pure generator, like probably 3410 channel or something. A
Dude, but then
3420 channel, sorry.
I think that also
Manifesting channel.
reflects the environment that you're in, right? Like both of my parents are MGs. They both have two lines, so like we all like kind of keep to ourselves, which is super nice, I'm not gonna lie. But they're both emotional MGs, and it's a lot. Like they're go, go, go all the time, like little Energizer bunnies. You know that commercial? It's maybe a
Yeah, yeah,
United
yeah.
States reference, but
No, no, I know.
okay. But yeah, it's just very interesting. So I understand your aha when you saw that this person is a reflector, but having grown up in a mostly generator household, right? Like that shows you, I think, how much conditioning can affect you, which is insane.
Yes, absolutely. Reflectors have the most protective aura on top of that, so
Good
it's
for them.
hard.
They need it.
Yeah, they do. So, for everyone that doesn't know, a reflector is completely open in their chart, at least in their centers. They have a few gates, but they don't have the centers defined. And everywhere where you're undefined in your chart, that's where you're taking in and amplifying energies around you. So, reflectors just have a bit of a better auric protection so that energy may come in from others, but they don't necessarily amplify it, but they need to sample. They are like little bees sampling all the energies around them. But instead of the pollen latching onto their legs, they're able to just leave the pollen where it is, more or less.
I like that metaphor. When you said sampling, I thought of like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Or that, yeah. But then they would put on weight, probably.
Yeah, so that's not the right metaphor. I love your bee metaphor though. That was beautiful.
That's cute. Okay, well, for an introduction, I think this is good, unless you have anything else to add. And we're always welcoming any kind of feedback and requests, especially for any future podcast episodes.
Most definitely. Yeah. I don't have anything, but I'm excited to continue speaking about this because I feel like we only scratched the surface today, and I'm so stoked to go deeper and
Absolutely.
for you guys to experience more of us because we're magical together, and I'm not just saying that. But I mean, yeah, no, it's true. It's true. If you're not
Agreed.
feeling the vibes
Agreed.
already, like, stay tuned for the next episode, please.
Yes, we're just getting started, and this is just a little teaser, you know? It's
Yeah.
okay.
Cool, guys. Until next week. Ciao.